And this is a season of giving. And I want you to prepare your hearts as we share this message as God has put. We have always given for others. We have always raised churches for others. Now we are going to raise it for us. And the next 2 years is going to be a season of giving. Every preaching we preached will be tested from here. Every song of faith that we sang is going to be tested. Every word that we testified is going to be tested in the next 2 years. That lady put in everything she had, and she had to live. I bet she would have been forgiven if she had to put just one of it. She would have thought about her food, her daily life. She would have thought of everything, but she didn't do that. So was Jesus rebuking the people, the rich people who are putting up with abundance? No, Jesus wasn't speaking about that. They also did a good job of putting it out of the abundance. But he said, as compared to the people who are putting the abundance, he said, this lady put in everything she had. In this 2 Corinthians, as you read, there will be a revelation that will come to you. As we speak, as we share, you will realize what made this woman put everything she had. He was telling Titus, you have been excelling in speech, in knowledge, in other things. Now I want you to do one more thing. He said, excel in the grace of giving. What type of that is that? Grace of giving. He could have simply said, excel in giving also. We have heard of graces. Sometimes not knowing what grace is, we say we have the grace of God. We use sometimes this word grace very loosely, not knowing what this grace is. We all know grace is unmerited favor. Grace is when we get something that is not ours, and because of that we move from point A to point B. Let me repeat that. Grace is when you are benefactor of something that is not yours and that takes you from point A to point B. That's grace. So many areas that grace is working in your life and my life. Are we not aware of it? What is grace? It's unmerited favor. Something that God is pouring out to you. Christ is pouring out to you without your knowledge and does not belong to you, to take you from one position to the other position. And this was not all. Paul is saying you need grace to give. I thought giving was simple. I have the money, I give. Money belongs to me. I have time, I give. Time belongs to me. But Paul is saying no. This is not about giving. He says you need grace to give. So you can give without grace. But why did Paul say, I pray for that grace of giving to come upon you? Because when you give to the kingdom, it is a spiritual warfare. When you give to the kingdom, it's about faith. When you give into the kingdom, it requires grace. For you to see what God wants you to see. You're with me? Second Corinthians 8:1, as you began that, you would have missed this. It said, before they gave themselves to the Lord. You're with me? Can I have that statement there? 2 Corinthians 8, it says, before they gave themselves to the Lord. Look at it. Unless you give yourself to the Lord, you cannot give with grace. You and me are ownership of God's money with us. Not you and me. We don't have anything. Now, before you give what does not belong to you, you need to put yourself and give yourself to the Lord first. You and me, when we write our checks, you think you're giving your money. No, you're not giving your money. I'm not giving my money. That's why you first need to give yourself unto the Lord before you give yourself to giving. Grace is supernatural, guys. That means grace of giving is also supernatural. Let me repeat that. Grace is supernatural, which means that giving in grace is supernatural. If you are giving and you're giving in grace, you're operating in the supernatural realm. People who operate in grace, please pay attention to this, are content with their life. Or let me put it the other way. When you are content with your life, you operate in grace. Luke 6:37 and 38 says, give and it will be given, a good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over. You give and I give with not your measurement. You and I give with whose measurement? God's measurement. And God's measurement is what? He's pressing and ensuring that He can put maximum into it. You're with me? That's God's measurement. Not your measurement, not my measurement. So if you want to receive that measurement from God, then our action is also should be same way. Press down. Maximum that we are putting into the suitcase. That's when you operate in grace. And the moment you do that, Proverbs 11:24-25 says, you unlock the heaven's riches. You unlock the riches of heaven. I want you to pray, church, and say, Lord, teach me to give this thing. As much as I'm praying for grace for so many things, I want to pray for the grace in the area of giving. Your prayer should be, Lord, not out of my abundance, but it should cost me. When David was building the altar, he said, I want that land and I want to pay for it. Why? Because I want whatever I'm giving out of worship, it should cost me. Abundance doesn't cost you. Abundance doesn't cost me. But what will cost is what we need to put before God.